YouTube, what's up? Found this today. And I hate this truck. I mean, I like this one better than the green light. One of the few M2 castings I like better than the green light. And I like the paint job and everything. It's like whatever, but I bought it because of these chrome wheels. This is a Foose truck, and these are Foose wheels, and my car that I drive has Foose wheels that are very, very similar to this, and I have a 1:64 scale casting of my car that's being customized right now by a highly skilled individual, but I have wheels for it, but I don't really like them that much, so I'm hoping that these will fit, because this would get it like way closer to my actual car. So that's why I bought this. I bought it for the wheels. So what I'll do is the black wheels here, the black chrome, will go on the truck. Now, the other part of this video here, let's just do this here. Just stand by momentarily. So this is just a progress update on this layout. So I'll talk to you guys a little bit about how I've made this. So starting out with this board, it's 2 feet by 2 feet by 3/4 inch thick. And then what I've done in the past is I've used plaster cloth and newspaper to build up terrain. What I did here is I got these, I don't know what these are, 1/2 inch pieces of foam. They're 1/2 inch thick, 10 inches wide, 12 inches long. So I stacked 2 of them up here and 2 of them up here. And then on this side, I just kind of carved out an embankment. So I glued them down, and then this here was all one piece of foam. This one was 2 feet by 1 foot by 2 inches thick. And so what I did with this one is I cut about 1.5 inches off of the width, and I did it at kind of a jagged cut, just trying to get like an imperfect edge. I did that all the way down, and then on this part here, I just kind of carved out an embankment. And then I glued it down. That's all one piece of foam. So then I glued that down to the board. And then once both sides of the foam were glued down, I take my bottle of drywall spackle and I plaster the entire thing. Everything gets coated. This side got coated, the riverbed got coated, and then this whole area got coated. Then after it's all coated with drywall spackle, once it dries, the next thing you do is you sand it. So like here, where I have the paved road, I sanded that as smooth as I could. Well, I shouldn't say as smooth as I could. I like to leave little imperfections. Like some guys that make these will smooth these out like as much as they possibly can. But I do like to leave little imperfections. And one of those imperfections is at the joint between the two sides of foam. I just left it because I'm like, hey, it's a crack in the road, very common thing, very realistic. So why fix it? So then once you have it all painted, then you start building up your terrain. So for me, after paint goes dirt. Now I did the dirt a little bit differently on this one than I did on the overpass. On the overpass, it was all one color. It was a 50-50 tile grout ballast, fine ballast mix. This is the fine ballast here that I mixed with it. But on this one, I went to my backyard and grabbed a bucket of dirt, which as you can see, it's a much darker tone. And then I sifted out all the fine stuff, but it was so dark that I had to mix, I'd say probably 1 part grout to 2 parts dirt, just to get it a lighter tone. And so I did the darker tone along the river embankment here that runs all the way down along the river. And then I did it for the top part of the landing here. And then this back part is going to be a dirt road. So with that one, I just used the tile grout. And then I did a mixture here of the backyard dirt along with the tile grout because I wanted to have a little bit of a beach area so that, you know, my little diorama people can pull their car over off to the side of the road and cast a rod or dip a line or whatever you want to call it. And then over here is backyard dirt with a little bit of ballast to highlight it. So once you have the dirt down, then it's the fun part. Getting the dirt down sucks because you have to glue it. You have to glue it down and then you have to encapsulate it. The encapsulation process sucks. It's time consuming, but it has to be done. But anyways, once that's done, your next step is static grass. And I have to tell you, I had a very bad experience with the static grass applicator this time around, which is why you don't see nearly as much static grass on this layout. I was definitely planning on putting more, but I got shocked so bad. I'm honestly surprised it didn't kill me. It hurt. I mean, it was bad. So if any of you make the investment for the static grass applicator, and I think you should, if you plan on making one of these dioramas, I definitely think that the static grass applicator is worth it because it will give you a level of realism that you won't get without it. And so I definitely think that the static grass applicators are worth the money and the hassle. So we'll have a little bit darker green over here and then a little bit more late summer, early fall color. But then once you get the static grass down, then it's just a matter of your different types of vegetation. So for this layout, I used mostly, obviously, Woodland Scenic static grass, Woodland Scenic's coarse turf, light green and medium green. And then I used Woodland Scenic's bushes here. All of this gravel and boulders are from Woodland Scenics. And the deadfall is just little branches that I have found out in the yard. And that's about it. So, you know, it's really just a matter of randomly laying it out, putting the stuff wherever you think it would look natural. And then you have to paint the base of the river. So many people that make these go with blue, but rivers are not blue. So I would strongly advise against that. I'm actually quite happy with the way this came out, both with the texture and the different the different colors and shades and the way that they all kind of fade in and out with each other. I'm really hoping that this doesn't get damaged because I don't want to have to paint over the top of it. I really think that with a nice clear resin on top of that it'll look really good. And what I'll use, because obviously when you pour the resin, the concern is going to be the edge. This edge over here and this edge over here, because there's nothing to stop the resin from falling off over the edge. So I've seen people use masking tape. I've seen people use Elmer's glue. I've seen people use caulking. I'm going to use this. This will make a perfect dam so that I can close off both edges. I'm just hoping that everything painted, like up, the first quarter inch of each embankment, I hope everything is sealed off nice. It should be, because there's a layer of plaster, and then on top of that, there's probably 2 or 3 layers of latex paint. And then on top of that, at least in the seams, there's grout and glue and all kinds of stuff. So I should be good to go. But once I get that water poured, this thing is going to come to life. Another thing too, unlike the overpass layout, I'm going to make my own trees on this one. So that's just a little branch that I found in my parking lot at work. So I just brought it home. I gave it a coat of matte Mod Podge to give it strength. And then I put the leaves on it. So I'm going to start making my own trees, because I think they look a lot better, a lot more realistic, and they're a lot cheaper. But that'll be the last application to the build. Over here was quite interesting. This is kind of like the main feature of the layout. The main feature of the overpass layout is the bridge. Well, the main feature of this layout is the ramp. And so the way I did this is I put down about between 1/8 and 1/4 inch layer of drywall spackle, and I smoothed it out. Then I took a Hot Wheels Land Rover and drove it up through it to create the wheel tracks. And then after that, you let the drywall spackle dry. It's basically plaster. You let it dry. And then I painted the base coat on this entire layout was khaki, so it was a real light brown. But for the wheel tracks, I painted them a chocolate brown and let that dry. And then I highlighted the little tread patterns with that khaki. But the tread patterns are hard to see on camera. They're very visible, though, to the naked eye. You can see the little ribs, like little wheel detail. So I highlighted those with the khaki color with a dry brush, and then let that dry. And then it was basically done to the point that I could do it. I really couldn't do anything beyond that until I got the rest of the dirt down. Now, when putting the dirt down, I knew that I didn't want to put dirt inside the wheel tracks. I didn't tape them off. I just didn't glue. I didn't apply any glue. So I put all the glue here, here, and here, so that when I dumped the dirt down, it would only stick to those areas and not the tracks. After that application, I would run my vacuum over and lift all the dirt from the tracks, which I'm going to need to do again because all of this ballast is falling in there. So after all that dirt was lifted from the tracks, then I went in with a gloss Mod Podge to give it that wet, muddy look. So it was an interesting process, but I think it came out, I actually think it came out kind of awesome. But I think it'll look much better once I have the river Because right now it's like, it's really just a muddy embankment. But once there's some water down there, it'll make a lot more sense. And then up here, you know, it's just going to be a dirt road with some trees, little campsite area here for, you know, I can take shots of the motor homes, the hitched homes, you know, off-road vehicles. I can take photos of boats here. But I have a lot more detail to add. There's going to be a lot more detail than what you see here. Now this layout is based off of Luke Towan's most recent video. So I kind of copied him on both. The overpass. Although the overpass, I changed it a lot. Really, the only idea that I stole was the bridge. But even that, I changed because it was a very different bridge. But with this one, it's basically just a copy. Although he did a much better job. The way he laid out his ramp, I think, looks a lot better than mine. But it's too late. Once that was carved out, there was not much that I could do to go back. And I didn't think about it until it was too late. So, but overall, I'm happy with the look. I think, you know, I think it works. So I got this road done with a little bit of weathering. You can see like the center lanes have more wear to them. And all that is solid color, steel gray and matte, and then a black wash down the center lanes. That's all that is. And then paint pen, paint pen, paint pen for the lines. So that's where I'm at with it, everybody. I should be done this weekend. I think, well, I may not, because I should be mostly done by this weekend. Like, I should have the river, the water done and all that kind of stuff. But there are going to be some other finer details that I'm going to have to add. So anyways, I'm, you know, curious what you guys think. Thoughts, questions, suggestions. Let me know. And I guess now, since we're 18 minutes in, we will take a look at a few cars. I think that this layout, I already think it's the best layout I've ever done from a replication standpoint. I don't think any layout I've ever done has looked this realistic. You know, however realistic this looks, it may not look very realistic, but to me, it's the most realistic that I've done. But I think once I get it finished and take it outside in some natural sunlight, that's what I'm looking forward to, because I think it's going to look killer. So we have Tomica Limited Vintage, Nissan R33 Skyline 4-door, Mitsubishi Galant, Mazda, what is this? Is that a Luce? Yeah, Mazda Luce. I don't know if I say that right. Lucy, it's Luce, so Luce, I don't know. Here's my favorite though. This is possibly my all-time favorite Tomica Limited Vintage car. And then up here, we have some camping 4x4s. Well, thank you everybody for taking a look. I feel like it's been forever since I've done a video. But hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully this video helps you in some way with your hobby, or maybe inspires you in some way to make yourself a little display. All of these supplies that you see here can be purchased at either Walmart or Hobby Lobby. The only thing that you can't get at Hobby Lobby is the static grass applicator. And for that, depending on where you live and what type of terrain hobby stores you have in your area, more than likely you'll have to go to either eBay. So you'll have to go somewhere online to get a static grass applicator. Like, I couldn't find anybody in the Phoenix metro area, which this is the 6th largest city in the US. And I couldn't find a single hobby shop that sold static grass applicators. Well, I found some that sold them, but they had to order them. They didn't have them in stock. So, but it's worth getting. I found mine for $40 shipped. I got shocked. It hurt like you wouldn't believe. But I'm telling you, if you want to make one of these layouts to give it that realistic look, the static grass applicators are worth every penny. So, but it's not that expensive. You know, you can get a bag of coarse turf for $2.99 each color, $2.99. Static grass is under $10. Dirt is free because you can get it in your backyard. But even if you buy it, you can go to Home Depot and get tile grout for, I think it's like $5.99. The bushes, all of the green woodland scenic stuff is under $5. The woodland scenics gravel and boulders is under $5. So even this board, which is 2 feet squared by 3/4 inch thick, was only $5.99 at Home Depot. So, you know, you can make one of these for a reasonable price. You'll have to buy a bottle of matte Mod Podge to glue everything down. But and then here's a close-up of the tree. Trees just got a lot more realistic for me and a lot less expensive. So I'm pretty stoked about that. But anyways, like I said, if you guys have any thoughts, leave them below. I'm curious to hear your guys' opinions and suggestions and all that good stuff. So, but otherwise, have a good night. I'll holler at you all at the next video.